Hello, everyone. I believe that we are up and running. I'm just going to head over to YouTube to check and see that it is going. Let me see here. There we go. Hello, everyone. I can see a few people on the chat here already. Oh, there I go. Okay, I was getting worried there. I wasn't sure if it was actually going through to YouTube, but it is. So welcome, everyone. I can see Kathy and Moogles. Welcome. It is absolutely wonderful to have you here. And this is our third crochet and coffee hour. We're here on February 23rd, 2024, and yeah, it's absolutely wonderful to be here. So I hope that you have your coffee along with you later on in the in our time together. We're going to be working on the rope cable square. So if you want to head over and grab that pattern or make sure you have access to it, we can take a look at it later on. Hello, Yarn Life. Hello, is it Ambi Craft Reads? Hello from your creative corner. Welcome. We have Kay. We have someone here from Iraq. Hello. Absolutely wonderful. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. You're a newbie. Welcome. And great that you love crochet. You're in the right spot. Moogles is loving the crochet and coffee hour. Oh, you're very, very welcome. I am too. I'll confess, I think I said it before, I was a little bit nervous starting out live, so I don't usually venture in that area, but I'm kind of having fun with it too. So it has been asked if I'm going to continue them after the crochet along, and at this point, yes, I believe every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Blessings and crochet and coffee. Hello from Seoul. KJ Lee, welcome. Robin's Nest of Creations. Hello from New Mexico. I am saying hello from Ontario, Canada. For those who don't know me, I am Sarah, and the designer behind Rich Textures Crochet. So welcome. This is exciting. Every once in a while, you're going to hear this little bell on my camera. I'm not quite sure what my camera's doing on my phone. I'm not sure if it's the screen turning on and off, but every once in a while this little bell goes. So that's what that is, if you are listening to it. So welcome. Yeah, feel free to say where you're from. If you're working on the crochet along, or if you're not working on the crochet along, what else do you have on your crochet hook? Great news that I'm going to continue the lives. Yes. Oh, congratulations on your retirement. That'll be fun. A little bit more freedom. Absolutely wonderful. If you're not working on the crochet along at this point, or if you are, what else do you have on your hook? You can let me know down in the comments. I posted on Threads. I was wondering, I finished 2 projects that will be coming out down the line, and I didn't know what to start. So I started a shawl. But I have a hat in mind as well. You love crochet, you're eager to learn new stitches. Welcome. Welcome, David from Florida. Absolutely wonderful. From Tennessee. Oh, you're working on a headband. That's good for this time of year. Currently on row 65 of the men's beanie with a color stripe. Oh, wonderful. That men's beanie, if you haven't checked it out, it's one of my favorite hats. And actually, my daughter wears the hat, and so she loves it, and my husband still wears his. I've made him a few of them now because they have that classic look. Every year I kind of whip up a few of them. There's also another classic knit look beanie. Those hats have been very, very popular on YouTube and on my website, and they're a popular one around the house. So Yarn Life, you wrote me emails. I will take a look. I'm not that great with email. I get a number of them throughout the day, so often they get lost. I will go take a look though, Yarn Life, and see what those are. Thank you for letting me know. And if you do send an email and I don't get back to you, just send me a little nudge on Facebook, write a little comment or something. That will kind of send me looking for it. So other people are working on shawls. Hello from Germany. Another hello from Germany. You're a newbie here too. Welcome. Patchwork squares and a knitted hat. Wonderful. So much stuff going on at the moment. That is great. So I'm working on a shawl, and it's going to be a triangular shawl. I'm slowly at the point though where I know I'm going to run out of yarn, and I don't have any more yarn in this particular color. I'm using one of the Line Brand Mandela bonus bundles, so I'm feeling a little bit discouraged. Yarn, it doesn't take too long. It takes about a week to get to me because I'm not super close to a craft store, and the Mandela and a lot of the Line Brand yarn isn't available at my craft store, so it takes a little while. So I'm kind of working on the shawl and getting a little bit sad because I'm going to run out of yarn soon, but yeah, I'll have to order a little bit more. New here, you're working on a basket weave Afghan. That'll be beautiful. It's such a great texture. Hello from Brazil. Hello from the UK. Welcome. So this is wonderful. We're going to take a look at the rope cable square, which, take another swig of coffee, which is the third square in the Crazy for Cables crochet along, which we're currently working on. I did post the link in the description of the live here if you want to check it out and kind of follow along as we go. So this is the third square, the rope cable square, and I think these lives have been fairly helpful just for people to kind of get used to working squares and get used to the way I write the instructions for the pattern. So I've been finding these helpful. I'm hoping that you folks are too. I know a few of you have said that you are, which is just wonderful. So I'll just take one more look here. Greetings from Ohio. The rope cable is beautiful and quite easy. It is. You're going to make pillow covers, Yarn Life. That will be absolutely gorgeous. It is. I've said this about cables before, but it has such a nice rhythm to it. Like once you get past that row 3, which is the heart stopping, I don't know where to put my hook row. Once you get past that row 3, it really does have a nice rhythm to it. It would work in so many projects, sweaters, pillow covers, so many options for a rope cable. It's just a great stitch pattern. Hello from the Southwestern UK. I'm assuming SW is for Southwestern UK. Welcome. So I'm going to pull back my little screen here. And there we go. Hopefully that is enough. Let me just adjust. I have the camera on the opposite side today to see how it works. Let's pull me back a little bit more. There we go. So we have our rope cable. You're also going to notice that today I'm going to be working it in a cotton yarn. Oh, look at that. I didn't even finish the first 2 rows. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to work in a cotton yarn today, I think, and it's a little bit lighter in color. I think it's going to show up a little bit better on the camera for us today. So if you are working this rope cable square, you're going to start by chaining 47, work in the second chain from your hook, and you're going to single crochet across for row 1. At the end of row 1, chain 1, turn your work, and you're going to work another row of single crochet stitches. I meant to do this before the video, but obviously got distracted. So I'm just going to work my second row of single crochet stitches here right now. So feel free to crochet along or talk amongst yourselves as I do this. And we're just this is row 2, so we're just working the single crochet. I see every time that bell goes off, my screen freezes. Hopefully it stays working. I'm not sure why it's doing that, so I apologize in advance. But we're just going to single crochet all the way across for that row 2. Once you're done your row 2, then we're set up to start working our cable stitches, which is again, this row 3 is one of the more challenging rows in the cable pattern. After you get that row set up and all the counting correct, it goes much smoother. So I'm almost all the way across. Just working single crochet stitches. I think that this yarn is going to show up a little bit better. I'll note that in this cable pattern, every second row, so every even row is a single crochet row. Kind of gives you a break from the cables, and it just gets you back to the other side so that your cables are all to the front of your Afghan square. One more question that came up in the Facebook group while I'm thinking about it was about, you'll remember your first square only had 45 stitches in the first row. All of your other squares will have 46 stitches all the way through the squares. And when it comes to joining, the one square difference or the one stitch difference is not going to make too much of an issue for you. You're still going to, if you're joining the way I do, you're going to join the same way for all of those squares, and you're going to find that it's still going to come together quite nicely. I didn't add in the extra stitch for that first square to make it the same as the rest, simply because I like everything symmetrical, and I would have been one stitch over or under. So that is why that first square has only 45 stitches and the rest have 46. But don't worry, when we go to join them in, they'll all fit together well. I'm going to take one more look at the chat over here. Let me see. How do I get the info? Where do I find the crochet along? So Denise, if you head over to richtexturescrochet.com, the link is in the description of this live video. I believe that you can see it there, and it looks like it might be tagged there. Yarn Life may have tagged it there for you, but you'll find each of the squares are being posted there, one every Wednesday. And a little bit early on, you might have to go back a few pages. You'll find the introduction post, or it's linked there in the latest square. Okay, you want to learn granny squares, but you're not quite sure, not a master of it yet. You'll get there. Granny squares are quite fun to work. I do have a introduction to granny squares here on my YouTube channel. I believe it's under the crochet stitches playlist if you want to take a look at it. Okay, my crochet story says howdy all. So, caught up on the comments, we're going to head back over here to our square. You'll have worked 2 rows of single crochet stitches. First thing we're going to do is we're going to mark up the pattern a little bit, and I can see that once again it looks like my camera has frozen. Oh, this is not working. Let me see. Hang on. Oh, there we go. It's now connected. Sorry about that. I am not sure why it keeps disconnecting. Oh, it's really not. Let's see if it'll stay on. Sorry. Okay. Technical difficulties. Okay, let's go to our rope cable. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mark up our pattern a little bit. We're looking at this row 3, and we're going to simply pull out the stitches that we need and how many of them. So looking at our row 3, we're going to start with a single crochet in our first stitch. Okay, I'm going to Maybe bring this down a little bit. There we go. Then we're going to work a front post double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, 2 rows below, and I'm going to show you that very soon. You're then going to work a single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, skip the next 2 rows below, and then front post double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, 2 rows below. We're then going to work in front of the stitches just made. Again, I'm going to show you that very soon. You're going to front post double crochet in each of the previous skipped stitches. So those 2 skip stitches that you skipped a few moments ago, you're going to work in each of those 2 skip stitches. You're then going to single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. Repeat, starting from your little asterisk, which is right up here, all the way across until 4 stitches remain. Now, if you have an earlier pattern, I did have 5 stitches in there. A little bit of a typo on every single one of these rows. It is to the last 4 stitches. Okay, so I apologize for that. It's until 4 stitches remain. Then you're going to single crochet in the next stitch, front post double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and single crochet in your final stitch. Okay, so now we know where we're going. It's been written out. We're going to pick up our square, grab a drink of coffee, and get started. So row 3, we're going to chain 1. Just going to move this over a little bit. Turn our work, single crochet into this first stitch. Okay, your chain 1 does not count as a stitch. You're always going to single crochet into that first stitch. You're then going to front post double crochet around the posts of each of the next 2 stitches, but working 2 rows below. So when you are looking at your work, we're going to say that our stitches that are stacked one on top of the other are like a single unit. So if you're working in the stitch of row 1, it's like you're working in the stitch of your row 2. Same, if you work a single crochet in the stitch of your row 2, it's like you've worked in that stitch directly below it of row 1. Okay, so in the next 2 stitches, 2 rows below, this is our next stitch, but 2 rows below brings us down, and I just stopped again, there we go, brings us down to the stitch directly below it. You can count in 1, 2, the second stitch of row 1. You're going to insert your hook, yarn over, insert your hook from the front, around back, and out through the front again. Yarn over, draw up a loop, bring it up to the height of your single crochet, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 more. So that's your front post double crochet. You want to work a front post double crochet in each of those next 2 stitches 2 rows below. So we did 1, yarn over, insert your hook around the post of the next stitch 2 rows below, from front, around back, out through the front, yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 more. You've now worked your 2 front post double crochets. And I see my camera has stopped again. It really is not liking me today. Let me see if it comes back on all by itself. I'll move my hands in front of it. I don't know why. There we go. So then you're going to single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. As I mentioned, because we worked in the 2 stitches below, it's like we've already worked in those 2 stitches up top, so we're not going to work in those. When we're working in our next 2 stitches, we're skipping those 2 directly behind the front post double crochet and working a single crochet. And it's in the next 3 stitches, so single crochet 1, single crochet 2, and then 3. Just like that. Okay, So I'm going to take a moment and take a look at the comments. How are we doing? Excellent. Welcome. Okay. So continuing on, we're then going to skip the next 2 stitches 2 rows below. So counting those stitches, the next stitch and the next stitch. So we have 2 stitches, but 2 rows below. There's 1 down here and there's 2. You're then going to front post double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So yarn over. Again, you're going to skip those next 2 stitches 2 rows below and work a front post double crochet around the post of the next stitch. Again, pull it up so it's up to the height of your single crochet stitch. All the way up. There's 2. Now, working in front of the stitches just made, you're going to work a front post double crochet in each of the previous 2 skipped stitches 2 rows below. So those 2 stitches that you skipped, those are the ones that you're going to be working into. So yarn over, bring your hook in front of your work and back to the first skipped stitch 2 rows below. You're going to work a front post double crochet around that first skip stitch. Again, bring it up to the height of your other stitches. Otherwise, you're going to find that your work curls a little bit more. Yarn over, bring your hook in front of your stitches again, and now into that second skip stitch, work a front post double crochet. Just like so. So you now have 4 front post double crochet stitches, 2 of them crossed over the other. Okay, I'm going to pause there, take a quick look over here at the comments, and we're good to go. Okay, now my camera once again stopped, so I'm going to try and explain it here. There we go. I think it's coming back. So now we're going to skip the stitches directly behind the 4 front post double crochet stitches. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches in behind our front post stitches. We're skipping those. And we're going to work a single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4 in behind, and then single crochet into the next stitch and single crochet into the next stitch. We're now at the point where we're going to start our repeat of the pattern. So going back up to that asterisk, you're going to skip the next 2 stitches, but 2 rows below. And I've lost my camera again. Let me see if it comes back. There we go. So skip the next 2 stitches, but 2 rows below, and you're going to work a front post double crochet around the post of the next stitch, 2 rows below, and around the next. Now working in front of those stitches just worked, you're going to work a front post double crochet in each of the previous skipped stitches. So there's 1, the first skip stitch, and 2. You're skipping those 4 stitches directly behind your 4 front post stitches, and you're going to work a single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. Just like so. I have 2 border collies who you're hearing bark in the background. I'm pretty sure it's coming across on the camera. They're quite loud today. So they're a lot of fun, but they are very loud. And I probably should have put them outside before I started this live. But yeah, they're two border collies. I love them to pieces. They're very energetic, very fun, but very loud. Okay, so once you once you worked your single crochet stitches, you're once again going to repeat, and you're going to repeat that all the way across. Skip the next 2 stitches, but 2 rows below, front post double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. Now working in front, and I know my camera's gone off, I'm going to continue going. Working in front, front post double crochet around each of those previous skipped stitches. There's 1 and 2. You'll have your stitches crossed over in front of each other. Skipping the 4 stitches that are directly behind your cable stitches, single crochet into each of the next 2. So we're going to just continue this all the way across again until 4 stitches remain. And once 4 stitches remain, the pattern changes just slightly, and I'll slow down and pick up there once I come all the way across. So you're just working these crossed cables all the way over. Go all the way across. I'll count how many of these cables we have for you when I come over, just so you'll know in your own work. I did include a multiple if you wanted to change the size of your square for this pattern, and it was a multiple of 6 stitches plus 1. So you can, it's easy to change the multiples with cable patterns. All you need to do is stick the same number of extra stitches or fewer stitches in between each cable all the way across. You might have to kind of, sometimes it helps just to draw it out a little bit on paper if you do want to change the number of stitches in the square. There we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way across. I now have 4 stitches remaining. I've come across. I see it's frozen. I'll see if I can get it going again before we start. Oh, it's really frozen. There we go. Okay, so once you have 4 stitches remaining, you're going to single crochet into the next stitch. So you have a total of 3 single crochet stitches. You're going to work your front post double crochet around the post of the next stitch, 2 rows below, and around the post of the next stitch, 2 rows below. You're then going to finish off your row 3 with a single crochet into the final stitch. Chain 1 and turn your work, and you're all set to work your return row of single crochet stitches. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the crossed cables, and then you have your double cables at the start and at the end. Okay, so we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and you're simply going to single crochet in each stitch all the way across, making sure that you're working your stitches in order. Sometimes your twisted or your crossed over cables can get a little bit out of order, so just make sure that you're working your single crochets all the way across and you're not skipping stitches or letting those cables twist too much. I'm just going to take a quick look at the comments, see what we have going here. Perfect. Hoping we're all hanging in there. Okay, we're just going to work those single crochets all the way across. That row 3 is the hardest row. Now that most of our counting is complete. So our rows 5, 4, 5, 6 and 7 go much better, and I believe those are the repeat rows, or it's 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll check when I come across. So we're just single crocheting in each stitch all the way across for our row 4. There was another question, just as I'm going across here, about the square sizes. So each of my squares, I worked 52 rows of single crochets and cable stitches. So I worked a total of 52 rows. You may find that after the 52 rows, your square is either too tall or too short. That is okay. You're just going to work either more or less. So if your square is a little bit shorter, just work a few more rows, a few more repeats of the pattern, or vice versa. It does work out. And then again, you're just working those repeats until you have the total of 52 rows, or until your square is the desired size. Okay, and then you'll just stop at the end of those 52 rows. Okay, so at the end of row 4, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and we're all set to start row 5. So taking a look at our row 5, we're going to single crochet in the first stitch, front post double crochet around the posts of each of the next 2 front post stitches 2 rows below. So now when we are working our cable stitches, we are always working our front post double crochets around the front post double crochets 2 rows below. This is why it's so much easier. You're then going to single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Front post double crochet around the posts of each of the next 4 front post double crochets. Single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then repeat from our asterisk, which is right up here. You're going to do that until 4 stitches remain, then single crochet in the next stitch, front post double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and single crochet in your final stitch. Okay, so we're going to take a look here. Single crochet into our first stitch, and again, that chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so you're working into the first single crochet. You're then going to work a front post double crochet around, let's see if I can get my camera going, there we go, around the posts of each of the front post double crochets 2 rows below. So front post double crochet and front post double crochet. Then up top, you're ignoring those 2 single crochet stitches in behind, and you're going to work a single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Next, work a front post double crochet around each of the next 4 front post double crochet stitches. So if you're looking at your front post double crochets, you have these crossed over stitches. So the first front post double crochet is worked around the first stitch that's in behind the 2 stitches. So just right in here, and I lost my camera again. Let me see here. Gotta love technology, but it's really frustrating when it doesn't work. Okay, so front post double crochet around the post of that first stitch, and then the next stitch. There we go. And now you're working your front post double crochets around the posts of each of the next 2 stitches here. So you'll have 4 in total. There we go. Skipping those 4 stitches in behind, you're going to single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. You're now at the repeat in the pattern front post double crochet around the posts of each of the next 4 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. You're going to do this all the way across your work until the 4 stitches remain. Now sometimes, especially when we're working our next cable row, the cross stitches that kind of fall in behind those front post stitches, they can be a little bit tricky to find. You're going to just kind of reach your hook in there and pull them out if you need to, but they can hide quite well in behind the other front post stitches. So just make sure that you're not skipping over them. We're going to continue all the way across. I believe I have 2 more rows of these rope cables to work. There's 1 left. Front post double crochet around each of those next 4. And then finish off this repeat with a single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So you have 4 stitches remaining. We're going to single crochet into the next stitch, work there goes my yarn, a front post double crochet around each of the next 2 front post double crochet stitches 2 rows below, and single crochet into your final stitch. That will then bring you to the end of your row 5. So you're going to chain 1 and then turn your work. So this is what it's going to look like on the front. Turn your work, and for row 6, you're just going to single crochet into each stitch all the way across. All the way across. I'm just going to take one moment to check the comments. Okay, so Val, I'd post in the group, it really helps to place a stitch marker. Yes, where you should place that next single crochet. Yes, that is a great idea. If you're having trouble remembering where to place that next single crochet stitch, yes, definitely use your stitch markers. They are a great help. Thank you for that, Val. Do you leave your lives up in case you can't stay? Yes, I do. So it will be posted up here. That way too, if you're finding I'm going at a little bit of a slower pace, you can kind of go back and forth as well. Or if there's only one part that you need to really take a look at, you can go back and forth. It will remain up on my channel. Perfect. Okay, so single crochet in each stitch all the way across for our row 6. For those who are wondering, because I'm usually asked, I am working with a tulip, is it Edamo or Edamo crochet hook. I saw in a Facebook group someone was asking if these crochet hooks were worth the price. So I went and found some on Amazon and just bought a couple in my favorite sizes. And yeah, so far I'm really liking it. It's kind of like a, is it a clover armor hook? I feel like the tip is just a little bit more, or the handle's a little bit softer. The shaft of the hook might be a little bit longer. I haven't checked it out, but I know they have them in different colors. My Amazon could only send me red ones. So I think I saw though that there are pink and there might be a black and gold handled one. But yeah, so far I am really liking it. I'm a little bit of a crochet hook collector. So I find it really hard if someone suggests or asks about a crochet hook. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go check it out. So yeah, so that in case someone asks, it's a tulip hook, and it is quite smooth. It is really nice, and I do like the tip of it. Okay, so I'm at the end of my row 6. Gonna take one more check here. Oh, you have a black tulip hook. Yeah. And you like the, again, it's behind this little heart. I'll have to take a look after. Okay, yeah, it's a nice crochet hook. I'm enjoying it. It's nice. So I'm gonna add it to my crochet hook rotation. I have several hooks that I kind of rotate through as I work through my projects. So back to the pattern, end of row 6. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work. We're going to head into row 7. So we're going to single crochet into our first stitch, front post double crochet into each of the next 2 front post double crochet stitches 2 rows below, single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. We're then going to skip those next 2 front post double crochets and front post double crochet in each of the next 2. Then working in front of the stitches just made, just as you did before, you're going to front post double crochet in each of the previous skipped stitches 2 rows below. You're then going to single crochet into each of your next 2 stitches. Repeat from your asterisk, which is a little bit up here, all the way across until 4 stitches remain, then single crochet in the next stitch, front post double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and single crochet in your final stitch, which brings you to the end of your row 7. Setting that aside, we're now going to work it out. Single crochet into our first stitch. Then work a front post double crochet around the posts of each of our next 2 front post stitches 2 rows below. We've gotten this part of the pattern down. You're then going to, skipping those stitches directly in behind, 1, 2, you're going to single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Okay, we're now at our cable. We're going to skip the next 2 front post double crochets, work a front post double crochet then around each of the next 2 front post stitches. So we're crossing over in front. Make sure that you're bringing these cables up to the height of your stitches. It will also make it easier to find the cables that are kind of hidden underneath. You're then going to work in front just as we did before and work a front post double crochet around the posts of each of the previous skipped front post stitches. So starting with that first skipped front post double crochet, bringing it right over in front again, bring your yarn up to the height of your single crochet stitches and then around the second skipped stitch. So you now have 4 front post double crochet stitches crossed over each other. Skipping those stitches, in behind that cable, you're going to work a single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. That brings you then to the start of the repeat. So we're going to get my yarn untangled. We're going to skip the next 2 front post stitches and front post double crochet around the post of each of the next 2 stitches. Then working in front of your work, you're going to work a front post double crochet around the post of that first skip stitch and a front post double crochet around the post of that second skipped stitch. You can see how these stitches can kind of start hiding behind one another. There we go. You're then skipping those stitches directly in behind. You're going to single crochet into each of your next 2 stitches and repeat all the way across. Skip the next 2, work 2 front post double crochets, then working in front, work a front post double crochet around the previous 2, and single crochet into each of your next 2 stitches. All the way across, and once again it's until you have 4 stitches remaining. I have 2 rope cables remaining. I'm almost all the way across. One and 2. I have 4 stitches remaining. You're going to single crochet into your next stitch, work a front post double crochet around the post of each of the next 2 front post stitches, 2 rows below, and then 1 stitch remaining, single crochet into that final stitch. Chain 1, turn your work. This is your back. This is what your front looks like. So turn your work, and then for row 8, you're simply going to single crochet into each stitch all the way across. That brings you to the end of the repeats in this pattern. So then for rows 9 through to 52, you're simply going to repeat your rows 5, 6, 7, and 8 for the pattern. So your row 5 was that row where you worked the 4 front post double crochet stitches all in a row, so there's no crossing over or anything like that. So starting at that row 5, repeat rows 5, 6, 7, 8 till you have 52 rows or your square is the desired size, and then you're going to work the edging as according to the first narrow cable square. So that square, the edging for it is simply a single crochet in each stitch all the way across, 1 in the corner stitch, then you're going to work 40, let me see here, how did I do that, 46 stitches all the way down the side of your square, 1 in the corner, 46 stitches across, and so forth. You can change the number of single crochet stitches that you are working along the sides of your squares. So if you were working the narrow cable square and you're really feeling like having that one less stitch is going to bug you, because it can, I understand that, then you can simply go back and add in the extra stitch along the top and the bottom. It's really up to you. You can change how many stitches. Just make sure that you are fairly consistent within 1 stitch. I prefer to have at least within 1 stitch around each of my squares edging, just so that it joins nicely together. Yeah, I will be showing you how I like to join my squares together in week 6 when we work the joining and the edging together. So that is the basics of the rope cable square. I'm just going to take a look at any of the comments here. Lots of love the idea of crochet and coffee. I think it goes well together, which reminds me my coffee's probably getting cold. How do you like the red hooks? Yeah, it's okay. It's sometimes I have a hard time if I'm working with colors that clash. So, but the hook itself is wonderful. So red's not really my first choice for a crochet hook. Again, it was the only color that I could seem to find on Amazon as far as a one that I could try. But yeah, the hook itself is really, really nice. The color, I can take it or leave it. Yeah, so hello, Sean from Iowa. So that's all I had planned for today. Thank you so much for joining me. And next week, or I guess on Wednesday, I believe we have, is it the lattice cable or the winding cable? It might be the winding cable. I'll have to go take a look. I kind of schedule these well in advance. Yeah, so we'll be working through that one together. Now, the last 2 squares, I will give you a little bit of a warning. The repeats in them are a little bit longer. So it does take a little bit longer to go through. Our crochet and coffee hours might be a little bit longer than the 1 hour for those weeks, but we'll see how we do. And it's kind of fun once you get into the more complicated cables, and they're so pretty. I just love crochet cables. So you're very welcome, Catherine, for taking the time to do the live video. I'm glad it helps you, and thank you so much for joining me. And yeah, it's been fun. Have a great day to you too, Yarn Life. You're welcome, Donna. Is it Donner? Donnie? Donner Hall? Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you in next week, Fridays, 1:00 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'll have a fun time, crocheting coffee hour. So until then, happy crocheting, and I look forward to seeing all of your finished blanket squares. They're popping up in the group. If you haven't taken a look at the Facebook group, the Rich Textures Crochet Community on Facebook, be sure to do that, because there are some beautiful squares coming through there. So great. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later. Happy crocheting. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.